Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever is with you in your part of the world. So, welcome to the Alternate Corner. If this is your first time, obviously welcome. And if you've been here before, you've seen the content, welcome back. Before going further into this video, I just wanted to ask everyone, please go and like this video. Please subscribe to me, hit that notification bell, and press all so you get notified every time there's a video. Um, Also, a quick shout out if you fancy becoming a member and helping this channel and helping me out, then there's two levels of membership there, Taco Club level and the Blue Wench level. Please consider becoming a member. You get a lot more content, members only videos, and access to this Discord and stuff like that. But you really help the channel out and help it grow. So, with that, let's get into it. So, as always, those that know me know I don't script. I'm not one of these podcasts or YouTube channels that script stuff and write stuff down. And when you hear it, you're like, hmm, that sounds like they're reading. That's not. If I'm reading, you know it because I probably put it on screen. But I don't read. I just give opinions. Whether you like my opinions or not, that's up to you. I mean, a lot of people don't like my opinions. Absolutely fine. Anyone that comes to my streams and my chat know full well that everybody's opinion is welcome. I think I'm proud of my chat. I'm proud of my members, proud of my mod, proud of everyone that's involved in my channel because you got people that disagree on stuff, but they do in such a respectful way, and that's the way it should be. You go on Twitter stuff like that, and I'm guilty of myself on Twitter. You know, the Y mums they start ranting about. You go after them because it's like they come after you all the time. They come after me all the time anyway. Um, so you do respond back. But one thing I can say about this channel is the chat is awesome, and they don't. Everyone shows each other respect anyway. So one of the things I want to discuss was the justice system, and you know, it's disheartening for me from Wales looking at the American system. I think there's faults in it, but I also think there's some good things in the system. In the same way that in the UK there's some faults and there's other good stuff with it. So in the UK, if there's a trial upcoming, you don't hear anything about it. It's literally the press, gag orders, no matter what, everyone's under gag orders, which was awesome. So by the time someone goes to trial, there's no like, oh, they're guilty. This podcast told me he's guilty. What? Oh, they're Netflix. I watched Netflix. I could see this person was guilty. Hang on. There's none of that. And that's one of the best things about the UK system. I'm sure other systems in the world as well. Um, what's bad about it is the transparency in court because they don't record anything in court. They've only just started recording live sentencings, and it's just the judge you can see. So I think that's pretty bad that we don't have that transparency. I see more and more transparency in the US in terms of when you're in court, you can view not all trials, but some trials now, and you can view it, and there's that transparency. But in the US, the build up to a trial is a mess. It's it's the worst I've ever seen, I think. Just, you know, everyone just picks a side and just goes guilty, guilty, guilty. And most of it is a case of one person or one podcaster that doesn't have any kind of dignity or anything like that, just goes, this person's guilty. And their fans just woof go on it and just go, yeah, they're guilty no matter what. It's disheartening because the US is supposed to be that land of, you know, innocent unless proven guilty. I thought you guys were big advocates of that in the US. But since, well, I'm sure there are still people out there that believe in that system, but more and more I look at it, people pick and choose. People just pick and choose what they want. Sometimes they're innocent unless proven guilty. Sometimes they're guilty until, proven innocent. What? That's not how the system works. That's not how it works, guys. And the more I see it, and it's terrible. You look now at BryanKohberger. Like I think 80%, 90% of people I've seen on Twitter, like or social media in general, like he's guilty. That's it, done, dusted. We got some people with a lot of followers that are like, yeah, guilty, done. His DNA was in the house and this and that. You're fine. you know, but he's not had his trial yet. There's a lot of stuff that's come out uh, that we know, well, doesn't make much sense really, but because he was in the area, there's pings and stuff, he's guilty. It's like, no, he deserves his day in court. I think when you have that opinion, someone deserves their, you know, day in court and should be treated as innocent unless proven guilty. People think that you're shaming the victims and oh my god, shut the fuck up with that attitude. I'm sorry about swearing, I do swear a bit. Um, but it really winds me up because no, everybody wants justice for the victim. No matter what side, everyone wants justice for all victims. So I go for everybody wants that I'm presuming everyone's justice for the four victims. There's people like myself, that a small minority by all accounts, that want to ensure the process is followed correctly because we want to make sure that the right person is going to prison. There's, quite the stats out there, but there's a lot of people in prison that are innocent. Zachary Anderson. I will put my hand up and say that guy is in prison and he is innocent. Like he said in his speech to the judge when he's been sentenced, he said, I'm not guilty, Your Honour. I'm innocent." So anyone that actually watched that trial with, Zachariah's trial with an open mind, or has seen Solomon, his brother, on various videos going through the trial, will know there's no way in hell that he could have done. He could have murdered the victim, Rosario Gutierrez. Sorry, I have my mind gone blank there for a second. There's people like him who are innocent, in my opinion, anyway, that are rotting away in jail. So for me, that's the problem. People like DA Gravely in this instance, they don't care about justice. They're the same as all these wine mums and all those people are just armchair detectives. They don't care about justice. Once they get arrested, once someone gets arrested, like guilty, done, get them in jail, get the pitchforks out. They're in jail, get them in jail. No matter what the evidence says, they're already guilty. And that's what happened to Zachariah. And that's what's a shame on this judicial system. There is no justice in that case. Matt Moore, who I do a recap trial with every Wednesday, he was found not guilty. Thank God for that. At least that system worked. But unfortunately, why was he even on trial in the first place? Why was Matt there? We had Connie on, who was one of the jurors, and she said that. She said exactly that. She goes, "How did this even get to trial?" It's again people, the police, the DA office, rush to judgment, and just once they focus on one person, that's it. You're gone. And Matt unfortunately spoke to the police for interrogation, and that obviously hindered him because he said a couple of words that may have, well, they're normal words, but they lashed onto them then and said he's guilty. Look, he spent 15 months in prison, in jail, sorry, waiting for trial. 15 months of his life, he won't get back. And before that, he had 13 months out, but he couldn't leave the house. Because wherever he went, police were after him. People were, looking at him funny and stuff like that because police had basically said he was guilty. That's not life. You know, he couldn't mourn his wife or his son properly. His mother, who died previously as well. His father died whilst he was in jail. He couldn't grieve. This is why we have to get it right. This is why the attitudes need to change. People like the Delphi murders, Richard Allen, everyone's like, he deserves to rot in prison. So people know he's in prison at the minute and he should be in jail. There's a slight difference. Prison is where you go. In the UK, you just go to prison. So it's a bit different in the US. You're held in jail, for those that don't understand, until your trial. So it's a little bit better than, I presume, or I've heard, than going to prison where you are a convicted felon. So Richard's been taken to prison where he shouldn't be there, sleeping on the floor. He's lost so much weight, but because he's presumed guilty by most of the mainstream media and the wine mums and stuff, and obviously the police and prosecution, no one cares. Treat him like a pig. That's what he is. He's a pig. That's what people think. No, he deserves every right of being in jail. He deserves the opportunity to get his day in court. If he's guilty, then no problems. I'm not saying he's not guilty. I'm saying he deserves to go into that court system as an innocent man, and it's the prosecution's job legally to showcase why he is the guilty man. Once that's happened and he is proven guilty or not guilty, if he's proven guilty, great. Get him to prison. Get him in there for life, whatever he gets. Get the justice for the two victims in that case. No one's saying that the two victims are not important here. People, what I'm saying is, he deserves his right because there are innocent people rotting away in prisons. There are innocent people in jails. Just because you're arrested doesn't mean you're straight away guilty. So people need to get that out of their heads. People need to, and if you ask people, they'll always go, "Oh, they're innocent," unless or until proven guilty. But in reality, they don't think like that. They don't think. Even with Alex Murdoch now, I've always said I don't think he deserves to be in prison right now, based on what he was convicted of. I think that it wasn't a very good job by the prosecution. I don't think they showed enough that he was guilty. Now, obviously, you can point to the video and stuff like that, fine, but the data overall did not place him, at the murder. There's so many discrepancies. Now, do I think he was involved in it? I've always said I think probably he was involved, whether he shot them or not. But I genuinely think that in some way or another he's probably involved. But I don't believe that they showed it this time around. I don't believe that he could have done it all himself. I, I will go everywhere with that. I do not believe that he did it all himself. So that's why I'm like, yeah, he's in jail. I'm not crying about him being in prison because he's a piece of shit, But I don't think the right process was followed there. I think he deserves an appeal because the trial was so shoddy. We need a new judge that is not Judge Newman. You could tell he was just biased, and we need to make sure that there's no financial crime stuff gone into a murder trial. He's definitely a fraudster. Deserves life in jail for that. But let's do the murder trial again, and let's do it properly. Let's actually find out the truth this time. As I say, I do believe he was involved, but I do not believe the state proved it in the way they did prove it. And I'll stick by that. Whether people want to agree with me or not, again, it's just my opinion. But anyway, that's just my slight rant about that. I just don't want to see other people like Zachariah stuck in jail. I don't want to see that's innocent. I don't want to see innocent people like Matt having to spend 15 months in jail um, for something he didn't do. And I want people like Zachariah and Richard Allen to have a fair trial and to go through the processes correctly. Um, that's all I ask. And if they're found guilty and, and all their appeal processes and everything's done, brilliant. That means there's justice for the victims. But if you put an innocent man in prison, that's not justice for the victims because the wrong person's there. You might think it's justice, but it's not. So let's call out all these shoddy prosecutors that do it for a job and not actually for justice. Let's do it against the, attorneys that don't give a shit about justice and just about the media and, making money for themselves. Let's turn it back to actually justice for a change and actually making sure that we prosecute the correct people. That's just my opinion. I know a lot of people disagree with me, and that's your prerogative. But anyway, with that, I'll say please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and please consider becoming a member. And with that, I love you all, and free Zachariah Anderson.